Naomi issue 3. Brian Michael Bendis and David F. Walker writing with it, Jamal Campbell on the art. And this was very good, Matt. I mean, you've been enjoying this. I've been enjoying this. This is
big time.
I saw that people going, hey, you might want to go buy an issue before they all sell out because they're going to be on eBay.
Yeah, and my shop didn't get theirs in, so I have to wait now. They were shorted their copies of Naomi. I was very upset.
Some notable things happened in this one. This is where probably the biggest revelations that have happened so far.
So this is the grand unifying of Wonder Comics right now. Is this issue because it starts to pull threads together.
Yeah, well, we get some Gem World talk because it turns out the mechanic that Naomi thinks might be her father, or at least knew her birth mother.
Yeah,
D, yeah, he's Thanagarian, and he fell in love with his commanding officer, and they ended up in Gem World. But when he came through to Earth, she got left behind, like she couldn't come through as well.
So what I love about this though is the setup of her going to questioning him, and just like she's completely raw emotion of, are you my dad? Who is this girl? My mom. Yes. And he goes, it's impossible. And you're like, wait, why is it impossible?
So what you're saying here, Matt? So what you're saying here is that actually spending time building up to this revelation and having an emotional connection throughout the scene.
Don't fall for it, Matt.
Led to a reveal.
It's not necessarily the emotion. It's the reveal of why it was impossible. Not so much what it meant to Naomi. It was like, oh shit. For me, continuity wonk. Like, holy shit. Bendis just kicked down a wall and opened up this entirely.
Yeah, this is the beauty of it, Matt, though, is that you're so in tune in the story, you're paying so much attention, you're invested because you care about the answers that Naomi wants, right? Because you feel her frustration in the scene, because she's asking for answers and he's kind of avoiding the questions. He's saying these cryptic things. He finally tells the story. Like you say, it breaks this door open, where it's like, hey, he's Thanagarian, and we have had no hint of Thanagarian stuff in this story up until now.
D, the big biker guy.
Did, yeah.
And when you see him, he looks like Conan, right? He's like this, like he's like Conan, but with Hawkman, not Hawkman, but Hawk, like
yeah, because
the wingman.
I mean, he's always been bulky, but you see him in the flashbacks, and he's got this big beard, and he's got the armor,
beard and hair, and you see him just wrecking stuff across planets, and you find out that he was on this Thanagarian like SWAT, like SEAL Team 6 kind of team, where they send them to worlds in like secret. And they work on things and then up and leave, without leaving any trace.
While we're talking about him, that panel in the flashback where he's falling to like our Earth, right, through the clouds, is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That page is something else. You see him like multiple times coming through the clouds before he lands at the bottom.
Yeah,
it is a beautiful panel.
I just want to say, like, I feel like it's his training that led him to kind of, he's this big, massive dude with all these tattoos and shaved head, but he still blends in this super small town, right? Like, no one ever questions why he's there or whatnot. And then you get Naomi's mom after she finds all this out, right? You have Naomi's mom opening up the garage door and coming in and, like, smashing things with a baseball bat. Where you're like, okay, I get it, motherly rage. And then she smacks the big dude.
And we don't really know how much she knows about this. Because, I mean, you said she finds out. I mean, all she really knows is that her daughter snuck out at midnight, after midnight, and came here, right? Uh-huh. So she comes bashing in, like, you came here. And they're arguing, like, she slaps Dee for a start.
Yep.
We had a deal, an honor code. Tell me again about your Almighty Honor Code. So it's like hidden that she knows stuff about him, but we don't know how much. We don't know exactly what this is. Because he's confirmed that him and the woman can't be Naomi's mother and parents, right? So we know that's a fact at this point. So at this point with the mystery, I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Especially with her beating things up with a baseball bat. And
well, and then when you see the bat later, it's got like a dent in it. Like, mom was swinging.
Yeah. She gets in the car and she's demanding answers, and they're not very happy about it. And they said, "Oh, we were hoping we'd have more time before we had to have this conversation." And they drive out somewhere, and the dad's like, "No, it's just me and you. Mom's going to stay in the car. This is between us, and it's more of a show and don't tell." And she's rightly nervous, and you're kind of with her emotionally throughout the
Yeah.
entire issue, because every time she's asking something and they're dodging the question, you get frustrated like she is. It's kind of really perfect narrative bond with your protagonist. And there's some jokes, because she even like almost implies like, where are we going out here at night in the dark? And he's like, hey, I've been raising you for like 17
Yeah.
years. I'm not going to do all that just to murder you in a cave.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing. I think the natural assumption at this point is that you think he's taken her to a ship. And I started thinking, like, is that the genius of this? Is that it's basically the same origin as Superman. Except, unlike Superman, we don't know that when we start the book. So it's almost exciting to get the reveal hey,
that must have been Bendis' intent, because I thought the same exact thing.
It's like, you think, this is leading up to, here's your ship. We've got it buried out here in the forest or out in this cave.
Right.
And I'm like, that's really neat. And if that's where it went, I'd be like, that's really cool. But when he gets to the ship at the end, and she sees this ship appear out of, it's been camouflaged, and it shows up, and she's like, is that the ship I came to Earth in? That's exactly what she's thinking as well. But I've been thinking that for pages, so that's how well in tune that Bendis and Walker are with writing the characters, where we're thinking the same thing she is, and we're doing it for a long time. And then he says, no, that's the ship I came in. And then the final page is him in his Ranian. Yeah, his Ranian outfit. And I'm like,
he looks like a version of Adam Strange.
He does, yeah. It's Adam Strange gear, and I'm like, what?
So and this just adds more into it, that we know that Ran and Thanagar are constantly at odds, right? Like, so the fact, like, her dad is secretly from Ran. We're assuming this. We're assuming he's not like a Zeta beamed from Earth to there, because that's a little bit too much like Adam Strange.
Yeah, no, he's clearly crashed. He's on a ship. There's a spaceship there.
Yeah. So, and then this guy that's been living in her town is secretly from Thanagar, right? And like, so what else cosmic is going to go on here?
And I think we're also right to assume that her adoptive father here is still adopted father. I don't think it's actually, like, he's not. So, who her birth parents are is still up in the air. It's still open.
Yeah.
I don't know, but at least right now I'm like, well, this was a swerve. Her adopted father is from Ran. Okay.
So it involves the multiverse, right? Because D brings up the stuff about the multiverse. It involves Gem World, right? Him being from Thanagar kind of involves it in the Thanagar Prime kind of deal. And so it just makes me look at like Snyder and Bendis and Walker kind of working on building this tapestry going forward here, of what it means in DC,
And I think that's just why I was especially more hard on Justice League, and why we get into that debate, because I think this book it has these big crazy reveals of like things that aren't answered yet. This is a big cliffhanger. Every single reveal in this book, I was hanging in every single word of what was going on here. I was invested in what was happening, and every single time it did reveal something, I was going, oh shit. I was reacting. I wasn't quite gasping. I'm not that much of an emotive reader, but like, I was feeling these things. I was feeling things as it was happening. I care because the character's so invested in it, and it was everything was hitting me hard throughout the issue. I'm so into this book. This is one of the best books DC's putting out right now. I agree. I will fight for that. So no, I love this issue. This was
Once they got to he name dropped Gem World, and we have to assume that Naomi doesn't know what Gem World is.
Yeah.
So this all sounds like the ramblings of a crazy person to her, but to us, it's like, oh man. Suddenly Gem World means something after it not being around forever. But Bendis coming through.
I mean, she could be from Gem World. She could be from Ran or Thanagar, right? And for some reason, when she came here, or she is from Earth, but for some reason there's a vested interest where this deal that was made between Dee and presumably her parents.
Yeah.
Because he's clearly in on it. He clearly knows who she is and where she came from.
Yep. Well, that's why he said stop asking questions. That's what that whole was about last time. You know? Because he knows he's, if she comes asking, he's going to be straight with her. But yeah, and I'm starting to wonder if there's even more, like the next issue is gonna have some more, because now we're half through the first six, right? It's 6 issues.
Yeah, this first arc is 6, and yeah, and there's a break, and then it'll be,
Yeah.
you know,
So
Naomi
we're
2,
half
Electric Boogaloo.
through, and we see that we've seen that by the end of one issue, she's gonna have that gear on that we've seen teases of, you know. So
Yeah, I think it's gonna cover us both 5 and 6. So I imagine maybe
yeah.
the final page of 5 will be her
Mhm.
outfit. But so
You know, so we're moving at a clip, but yeah, and the
Sure,
art in this one is just what it does with the shadows,
yeah,
and like when Mom busts in and it gets super bright and whatnot. Like it not that I jumped, but it made for a shock, like a legit like, oh shit, Mom's here.
and there's a
You
legit
know?
atmosphere. Obviously, I mentioned that stuff in the flashbacks with the clouds and him falling to earth, all that stuff. But even out in the forest, going to the cave, and it's dark, and there's the cell phone light that's lighting their
Yep.
way. That stuff is like really atmospheric to the point where it adds to her suspicion, the creepy vibe. Even though her dad's actually being, there's nothing. He's not saying anything creepy or doing anything creepy,
No.
but there's still this uneasiness to it, and it's in the art, and it goes with how she's feeling in the moment. It's everything about this book so far has been pinpoint in terms of its craft, I suppose.
Yeah, I dare say that this is the best book monthly that DC's putting out. Like,
So it's in the top 5
easy.
for sure.
So
Maybe top 3. I'd have to really sit down and think about it. But it has become one of the most exciting books I have every month. So no, this was great. This because it's like I didn't know this was going to like Thanagar and Ran is like a subject
Me neither.
matters. Like I mean,
I was really in the camp that it involved the Legion of Superheroes, and I'm not even disappointed that we haven't gotten any hints there yet. You know,
hell, it still could.
like,
Next issue could be
it's yeah,
the Legion of Superheroes dropped you off in the future, and you know we agreed to look after you. That could be what we talk about next issue.
Yeah. Well, I just the way that Bendis brings in the word multiverse here, and then she even stutters it, like she's never heard of the multiverse and whatnot. I'm feeling that's a key.
She's from a different
to
Earth, at
this.
least, or different...
Yeah,
She's not from our dimension, I guess. Is
yeah, you know, not from our Earth, and you know, I just feel, but that could just be a swerve waiting to happen.
yeah.
But no, it's great. Like when we got the reveal that he's Thanagarian, and then you see him with the wingsuit on, and he's just this big bulky dude, and you're like, man, I want a mini about that story, like them going on these secret missions together and how they fell in love and where she went, you know. But yeah,
No, Naomi's great. What are you giving it, Matt?
I'm gonna give it a 10. I really enjoyed this. Yeah.
I don't think I can quite give it a 10. I'm going to give it a 9.5, but I loved it. I love it. It's the best issue of the run so far. It's been great so far. No, Naomi's fantastic. Read it, people. Seriously.